Welcome to Public Interface. I'm Mark, and joining me today is Mark Servais, Principal Web Developer at Velir. And today we're going to be talking about requirement traceability. Mark?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
So what are traceable requirements?
Traceable requirements are essentially, we all know what requirements are, right? We know the elicitation process that we all use to get requirements to be able to build the products that we build. So all we're really doing here is tracking those requirements and being able to refer back to them through any point in the process whatsoever, not just design, right? But we want to, through construction, through testing, through delivery, deployment, delivery, and even after the project's completed, we want to refer back to those to be able to make life a little bit easier from a scope, context, and ecosystem standpoint.
It's the world history of your project.
More or less, it's definitely the foundation, right? I mean, what are you going to build if you don't know what you're building? A little tough.
And it's really more to give the people working on the project a bit of a scope and context so that they're able to kind of adapt to each new situation.
Well, it even goes beyond scope and context, right? I mean, those things are tremendously important of what you're doing. But it even goes back to the whys. Why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? It keeps track of scope creep from a presentation standpoint, from a client perspective. I want to get this, Everybody wants a little bit more. So now you kind of have this set of documented, traceable things to go, well, if we do that, here's what it's going to affect, and this is how much it's going to cost versus everything else.
So at any given point, if say a requirement changes or something happens where a new feature is added, you can go back, look at it, and determine whether or not something's relevant still, or if this is going to affect the way you're going to approach a solution.
Well, we do a lot of Sitecore work, and Sitecore's got this great multi-language capability, right? So one of the things that is assumed by a lot of people is, well, I just need to put this into a different culture. I'm going to expand my operations to wherever. We'll say, Asia Pacific Rim, right? So we start looking at, different aspects. It's more than just going, well, I have my form in Sitecore of all my fields that we were using as content, so I will just translate them all and everything will be fine. That's the complete wrong way to go about that. So now we can kind of tie it back. If the requirement was really we're looking at the North America as a target audience, and here's the requirements of what we were going to hit from a culture standpoint. Now we're going to add a new culture. Now we can kind of go back, and we did this thing because of this particular culture. Now we have to change that a little bit. So take, for instance, we maybe have a holiday section in our website. North America holidays are not going to match much of the rest of the world, right? From a culture standpoint, everybody's got different beliefs, different moral systems, everything else. To be able to kind of go back and go, okay, well, now I have to introduce this new aspect of cultural info. Now I can go back and I can start picking out those components. I can look at the design. We can even go back to the tests and go, okay, this is what we're going to have to really look at and redo.
Yeah, and if you're able to take that context and go back and say, yeah, now that I'm going to translate this content, and maybe it's a holiday, maybe it's Christmas, if I go back and I understand that the business is really just trying to offer promotion for a holiday, I'm going to say to myself, right, if I'm in Asia or Middle East, Christmas probably isn't the best way to, I'm not just going to translate this. They're going to be like, what is Saint Nick? So if you're able to say, okay, now I understand this culture, I'm going to put in the appropriate, holiday, then it allows you to adapt to the business better.
I think Chevrolet and Coca-Cola had their little faux pas of introducing their product into another culture and having the name mean completely something different. I think it was like the Chevy Nova, that is exploding car now, in Mexico kind of thing. Because they didn't really take a look at the translation of what that really meant in context. So now we got a map.
Yeah, the mind map.
Well, you mind map. You can't take a journey without a map.
Right.
You can, but you may end up somewhere that you don't want to go.
And I'll leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Mark.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So that's our show. Follow us on Twitter at Velir. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, watch us next time as we implement another episode of Public Interface.